Hi everyone, it's Brad Ross from MakeMagicMoney.com, and welcome to another Eric Paul Super Conference DVD sneak peek. Right now, we're going to join the panel discussion with marketing experts Mike Capuzzi, Jim Palmer, and Eric Paul. Let's go right back to that seminar room and learn these secrets from these marketing experts.
This weekend, I pray a lot about this and really contemplate on what's the best way to bring maximum amount of value to you guys in just 3 days, which is difficult. You know, that's a hard thing to do. You don't have a whole lot of time. And Lord knows I've been squeezing it in, so good for everybody who's not getting much sleep this weekend. But I told you, I did warn you, didn't I? I did tell you to come well rested, and we're not coming here to sleep. So everybody's getting 4 hours, whether you care for it or not. Right? That's just what we're getting today, you know. And that's all I've been getting too. So God bless for drugs. The morphine's working, guys, so I'm doing fine. But anyway. Thousands of dollars of information on that CD. So I wanted to start off with that, and then the Marketer of the Year, and then just kind of keep it going. And Jim Snack, I mean, we already all have all his products, so the idea wasn't to get him to sell anything. So it was really just to get him in here to say, all right, share, share, share. Let's open up. Everybody just open up, put down your barriers. And then Jim, I said, we got to talk product. And our products are our shows. So he did such a wonderful job talking about our shows, and I just think that was a killer presentation, one of the best I've ever seen of Jim, for sure. And then Saturday, the idea was to give you tools, give you like all the tools that you could use to take your career to the next level now that your mindset's open and your heads are open for sharing. So that was the idea of yesterday, was to just give you tools out the wazoo so you could just keep, you know, so you couldn't say that you didn't have enough to work from, you know, as a base. And then today, the whole concept is now I want to take you into the big mindset. Now, because they're really, you know, I was talking earlier about Brian Tracy. You know, there's only two, we're all one skill set away from doubling our income. You know that saying? So that was a big part of what we talked about on Friday. But today, we're going to be talking about the mindset that needs to happen, because we can all accomplish incredible things. We're all incredibly talented people sitting in this room, like Mark was just saying, and we really are. I mean, there's a lot of talent in this room, seriously. But there's something that's holding us back if you're not wildly successful already. And even if you are wildly successful, there's something holding you back from being incredibly wildly successful. So we're going to really talk about that right now. So this is why I brought these two guys up here and myself, to kind of talk about our mind shift change. Mark already started with perfectly this evening, or this morning, you know, the real inner core integrity stuff and where our base should be, or at least where I feel our base should be, and he does. All right, so now we're going to talk about some incredible entrepreneurial mindset shifts, I guess, is what we're talking. So the three of us are going to do sort of like a panel discussion, and it's good. Let's keep it interactive. So you're more than welcome to ask. Mike is, if you're not familiar with Mike, Mike is the creator of Copy Doodles. He's a phenomenal copywriter. He's known all over the world now as one of the top copywriters. Just had a big convention in this hotel. In this room, I know, isn't that weird? And Brad Ross and David Farr were both here for that. And but he's just a phenomenal, phenomenal marketer. You've got some of his. He'll tell you about the little things that he passed out, which is a really cool thing for you to look at. And then, of course, you know, Jim is not only the newsletter guru, but is also a phenomenal marketer. So these guys are two incredibly successful entrepreneurs, do really, really well. And I think between the three of us, we've all made that mind shift change, and a lot of times together. I couldn't find a picture of us sitting on the beach last year, but we did. The three of us sitting on the beach, and Becky, his beautiful wife, was watching my kids and her kids, and the three of us just brainstormed on the beach for like 3 or 4 hours. That was really cool. I think Becky took a picture. I think I have one. Maybe it's on your.
There is a picture, for sure.
There is a picture of it, but we Office Max I was trying to think of. But did you hear that? I mean, I thought it was a killer example of not only making your business more easier to work with, but you're just adding value for the sake of adding value. You're not adding value to raise the price. He's just adding value to what he's doing to make it easier to work with him and more, you know. So I mean, I don't want to gloss that over, because we can all do that. There's something we can just give our customers on a regular basis, figure out what it is that doesn't cost you any money, but it
makes the pain of disconnect that much greater. Yeah. If someone's wavering, thinking about unplugging, oh my God, if I do that, I'm going to lose this, and my, you know what I mean? You got to make the pain of disconnect for your customers very large.
Yeah, I just didn't want you to miss that. Mike, what do you think about the power of zero? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, Jim said it all. I mean, and by the way, if you haven't seen that video on your website, I would definitely recommend that.
That's cool. What's the address on that newsletter? So I think for me, doing that twist from fear to faith as quickly as possible. And the only way to do that is, like for me, I have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. So that's where I quickly turn it and say, this is yours. I mean, that's part of my thing, and you'll see in my presentation, not that it's a Christian thing or a religious thing, but that I just quickly turn it over every morning. It's not about me, it's in your hands. It's not about me, it's in your hands. And when it's not on my shoulders, I'm not as nearly as afraid. When it's not on my shoulders. So the quicker I can turn something over, and I learned this little technique. I don't know if I ever shared this with you before. Is like when I'm afraid of something or something weird, and I think this was a meditation thing or something like that. Is that you'll see me like if you ever see me walking around like this, it's because somebody was just. I think your caricature looked weird. Somebody just said something to me. But I do this, and it's a physical exercise, so it helps my mind touch and feel, and it just works for me. But if something's bothering me or I'm afraid of something, is I pick up a pen and I.
First thing I do is I gave you a tear sheet, and I gave that to you not because it's propaganda about me, but that's secondary, but because there's a strategy there. And I just did a workshop 3 weeks ago in this room, and that was one of the strategies we shared were, how to become a person of influence and shock and awe packages and all these things you probably are quite aware of. But I wanted to give you that mainly because there's a lot of, I'm a big fan of looking at what is smart marketing and what works and using it in my business. So I just wanted to give that to you because I believe the astute students in here can learn from that piece and create a tool for their business.
Can we tell them where you got? Or do you want me to?
And I'll tell a quick story. Because when you start doing that in your business, one of the things, and Eric and I did it with our VIP workshop, value, so we talked about value, right? We just talked about that. And then influence. And one of the things that has really helped me start rising to the top, especially in the info marketing world, information marketing world, this world that I've, the consulting business is really something I only do with private clients now. But it's becoming a person of influence. So, we did a couple books over the last couple years, but really putting yourself in a position to be around other successful people, entrepreneurs, is key. So whatever you can do, and I'll tell a quick story. I told it at the chapter meeting the other night. You didn't hear it because you weren't there. You weren't able to be there. But we were just at this info summit. So the Glazer Kennedy Info Summit, there's about 800 information marketers. And I'm talking to another chapter member in the hallway on, I guess it was Saturday afternoon. It was like a blur. You think this is rough. I mean, that was even more of just, anyway, so I'm there talking to somebody, and focusing on them. And Dan Kennedy, who I know, I mean, he knows me. I've had dinner, I've had private lunches with him. So I don't have this awestruck, starstruckness about him. But he comes up and stands right next to me. And I'm talking to this other guy, and I'm not even really sure. I thought he was leaving. So I look over, and he's waiting for me. So I said, "Excuse me, Dan, just hold on a second." And I keep talking to Al. But anyway, he looks at me, he says, "Do you have a minute?" So I said, "Just wait a second." So anyway, he pulls me down to the end of the hall, and everyone's kind of like watching, why is Dan pulling Mike down to the end of the hall? And he sits down on a chair just like this, and he said, "Listen, I'm doing this special copywriting workshop." He said, "You don't need to give me an answer right now, but I'm doing it in May because I'd like to have you be a speaker there. Would you be interested?" So I told him I'd have to check my books and make sure I have the time. But so the story is, here's Dan Kennedy, who I consider one of the living legends of direct response marketing. Truly, and yes, you have to run stuff through the filter, but he's softening up. He's definitely softening up. Right. First of all, the man is a genius. I've spent a lot of time with him, and the guy's a genius, as is his business partner, Bill Glazer. But here's one of these living legends pulling me aside and asking me to speak at his special workshop. Glazer, who's his business partner, was in this room 3 weeks ago, not for any other reason than to do me a favor. He drove up from Baltimore to be at this workshop I gave, and gave a presentation he's never given before. And the reason why that has happened, that these two guys and several other high-level marketers have started to tap onto me, is because they know what I represent, what I stand for, and whatever you guys can do to become that person of influence, you're stocked. It's just amazing. And the key to that, in my opinion.
Wow! Talk about the real secrets of marketing, your mindset, and the psychology of marketing, as discussed by Jim Palmer, Mike Capuzzi, and Eric Paul, all revealing their secrets for you. And it's all captured at ericpauldvdset.com. Grab your set now. I'm Brad Ross for Make Magic Money, saying do what you love and love what you do.